Welcome to the virtual seminar of the Growth and Carbon Sequestration Model for Even-Age Longleaf Pine Stands. This model is part of the project called Developing Tools for Ecological Forestry and Carbon Management in Longleaf Pine. This research is supported by the U.S. Department of Defense through the Strategic Environmental Research and Development Program, or SERDP. The authors acknowledge the U.S. Forest Service Southern Research Station for their assistance and for providing the long-term datasets. This model allows the user to simulate stand dynamics of planted longleaf pine forests under different management scenarios. The model allows you to simulate two main areas: growth and yield and carbon balance. The growth and yield part, which includes survival, dominant height, basal area, stem volume, and merchantable stem volume, partitioned into three wood products: saw timber, chip and saw, and pulpwood. As part of the growth and yield model, pine straw production can also be simulated. The carbon balance part of the model, which includes in situ carbon stock, ex situ carbon stock, and emissions due to silviculture. In situ carbon stock includes above ground, coarse roots, forest floor, coarse woody debris, standing dead, and understory biomass. Ex situ carbon stock includes carbon sequestered in forest products in classes of saw timber, chip and saw, and pulpwood. As part of the carbon balance module, effects of prescribed burning on forest floor, coarse woody debris, and understory biomass can also be simulated. This module also simulates silvicultural emissions, which include carbon emissions for all silvicultural activities such as planting, burning, thinning, harvest, and transportation. You can download the model by browsing to this web address. At the lower left of the home page, there is a link to download growth, yield, and carbon balance models for southern pine stands. After clicking on the link to the models, you will see a list of 4 available models: loblolly pine plantations, longleaf pine plantations, even-age natural longleaf pine, and slash pine plantations. This time we'll focus on the model for longleaf pine plantations. If you like, you can email us to be included on our email list so you can receive notifications about upgrades and new versions of the models. After clicking the link to Growth and Yield Carbon Balance Model for planted Pinus palustris stands, you will see a list with links to supplementary information about the model and also the link to download the model. Model Versions Record is a document that lists the versions of the model released at this time. The Download Model link will allow you to download the model to your PC. The User Manual link provides a manual with details of how to use the model. The Model Description link includes a document that's still in preparation. It will include details of how the model was developed. The Growth and Yield Model link leads to a document that describes the stand-level growth and yield model for planted longleaf pine stands. The Individual Tree Function link goes to a document with details of the individual tree functions used in the model, and the Above Ground Biomass link goes to a document with the above ground biomass functions used in the current version of the model. Detailed instructions about model use can be found in the user manual that is located on the same page as the Microsoft Excel file which contains the model. After downloading and saving the model in a working folder, you can open the Microsoft Excel file and start using the model. The model opens in a tab called Inputs. In this tab, the user should enter the initial characteristics and the management activities of the stand to simulate, and the units, English or metric, of the outputs calculated by the model. All input values should be entered in English units. Select Simulation Options by clicking the Option button. The model can run from establishment or from an inventory at any age post-establishment. First we will run the model from planting. Enter rotation length in units of years. Enter planting density in units of trees per acre. Enter first year survival as a percentage. The default value is 90%. And enter site index, base age 50 years, in units of feet. If the user wants to simulate thinning, click the selection button, Simulate Thinning, in cell B15. The model can run up to 4 thinnings. The thinning method is random. In other words, the same proportion of basal area and number of trees are removed at each thinning. Select thinning type by clicking one option button. The model can simulate thinning at a fixed age, cell B22, at a target basal area, cell B23, or from a target stand density index, which is the button in B24. As an example, we will simulate thinning using target basal area as follows. Enter the target basal area at which thinning is triggered. In this case, we'll choose 125 square feet per acre. Enter the residual basal area remaining after thinning, and in this case we'll enter 75 square feet per acre. It's important to remember that the model can simulate up to 4 thinnings. The model can simulate the effects of prescribed burning on biomass dynamics of understory, forest floor, coarse woody debris, and standing dead trees. If site preparation includes burning residues, then click the selection button in cell E20. If prescribed burning is to be included in stand biomass dynamics simulations, the stand age at first burning in years and the burning frequency in years should be entered. In order to simulate understory biomass recovery after burning, the user should select one of the 3 types of sites by clicking the option button in cell F22, which is for a xeric site, F23 for an intermediate site, or F24 for a mesic site. The biomass dynamics of 2 types of understory can be simulated, herbaceous or shrubs. If prescribed burning will not be included as a management alternative, please leave blank the cells E22 and E23. As an example, we will simulate prescribed burning as follows. Enter the age at first burning, we'll choose 5 years. Enter the burning frequency, let's choose 2 years. Select site preparation includes burning residues. Select intermediate site, and select herbaceous understory. Now we'll select output units by clicking the option button. If you want English units, then select English. If you want metric units, select metric. Now we can run the model. The user can perform 2 types of simulations, a stand growth and yield model or a carbon balance model. First we will run the growth and yield model. The model shows the tab with a report of stand parameters at starting age and at rotation age. If thinning was carried out, details of stand characteristics after and before each thinning are also shown. The user can decide if yield output will be presented as merchantable volume or in green tons, inside or outside bark, by clicking one option button. From this tab, the user also can run a carbon balance model, start a new simulation, or print a report. There are 3 tabs with complementary results for the growth and yield simulation. A stand table. This report shows a stand table at rotation age using the new equations, which are unpublished, fitted by Mr. Dan LeDuc, a scientist with the U.S. Forest Service. The stand table uses 1-inch DBH classes. For each DBH class, the table shows stem density, mean height, basal area, merchantable volume, and merchantable green weight. The user can decide if merchantable volume and merchantable green weight are presented as outside bark or inside bark. Another tab is Summary of Growth and Yield. This tab shows a summary of stand parameters from the growth and yield model. At each age, details of stand density, dominant height, basal area, quadratic mean diameter, stand density index, and merchantable stem volume either inside or outside bark are shown. The The Pine Straw Production tab shows estimations of pine straw production from starting age to rotation age. If bale weight and pine straw harvest efficiency as a percentage are entered, the model will estimate bale production each year. The system assumes no effect of prescribed burning. Now we will run the carbon balance model. We can go to either the Report Stand Table or Report Summary tabs and click the button to run carbon balance. The model shows the tab with a report of carbon stock modeling. In this tab, a summary of in situ carbon pool, ex situ carbon pool, and silviculture emissions are shown as an average of yearly values for the simulation period. This tab also shows the dynamics of the in situ and ex situ carbon pools. Three figures are displayed in this report. A bar graph showing the average values of in situ carbon stock, ex situ carbon stock, and silvicultural emissions. In addition, two line graphs show the time series of in situ and ex situ carbon stocks. From this tab, the user also can run a growth and yield model, start a new simulation, or print a report. There are three other tabs which also show results from the carbon balance simulation. The In Situ Carbon Stock tab shows details of living longleaf pine, including stemwood, bark, foliage, branch, and coarse roots, dead longleaf pine, including standing dead, forest floor, and residues of thinning and harvest, and understory biomass at each simulation age. Longleaf pine projected leaf area index is also shown. The Ex Situ Carbon Stock tab shows details of carbon sequestered in forest products, sawtimber, chip-n-saw, and pulpwood. The Summary Carbon Stock tab shows a summary of the dynamics of the three major carbon pools, in situ, ex situ, and silvicultural emissions. Now we will run the model from a second modeling option, from an inventory at any age post-establishment. To do this, first we go back to Inputs tab by clicking the button to run a new simulation. Now select the type of simulation from Inventory Post-Establishment. For this type of simulation, we have two options: Simulate from Inventory Tree List and Simulation from Inventory Summary. First, we'll use the simulation mode using an inventory tree list. It's important to remember to not enter any data in the tab Inputs cells E11 to E14, as the model will calculate the values in those cells. Go to the Inventory tab by clicking Go to Inventory. Now we're in the Inventory tab. Here you can type or copy and paste a list as columns of the diameter at breast height of all trees in a single inventory plot. The unit for dBH is in inches. If height is available, also type or copy and paste those values in column C. The unit for height is feet. You also should enter stand age at the time of inventory and the size in acres of the inventory plot. If height was measured in a subsample, the system calculates the missing heights. As an example, we will use data from a real inventory. After checking that the stand level parameters were calculated, go back to the Inputs tab by clicking the button Go to Inputs in cell Y4. Back in the Inputs tab, we can see that the model shows the data from the inventory tree list. Now we can run the model. The second option of simulating from an inventory at any age post-establishment is the simulation from inventory summary. If you already have summary data calculated from one or more measurement plots, you may enter your summary data. You should enter the stand age at time of inventory, the stand density in trees per acre, the site index at base age 50 years in feet, and there's also the optional input of basal area and square feet per acre. You should note that if basal area is not available, the system will calculate basal area using stand age, density, and site index. As an example, we will use the following inventory data: a stand age at time of inventory of 18 years, a stand density of 500 trees per acre, and a site index of 80 feet. In this case, the model will calculate the initial basal area. Now we can run the model under this option. The model also provides an option to run carbon balance modeling for long-term assessments using multiple rotation simulations. You should click the selection button in cell B18 and select the number of rotations that should be included in net carbon balance estimations. The maximum simulation length is 500 years, so the number of rotations entered multiplied by the rotation age should not be larger than 500 years. Now we can run the model for carbon balance using multiple rotations. This was our virtual seminar of the growth and carbon sequestration model for even-age longleaf pine stands. The model is under continuing improvement as new information becomes available. You can also go to the website of the Center for Longleaf Pine Ecosystems at clpe.auburn.edu for further information about the projects. Thank you for your attendance. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us. Thank you.